4-color Reclamation for Diaz, and mono red aggro for Paul Wu. Do we like mono red this weekend, Todd?
Honestly, yeah. I mean, if 4-color Reclamation won the event this weekend, yesterday, then I am a huge fan of mono green and mono red right now. Like those two decks just super consistent. They can put a hurt on people who are trying to tech for the mirror by splashing that 4th color. Just like last week we saw Brad Nelson just get absolutely crushed by the aggro decks in our seasonal championship just because he was unable to really piece together a good defense with all of his lands entering the battlefield tapped.
Hold up. I see a Zagoth Triome. I see a Swamp. This is a different 4-color Reclamation.
It's one of the reasons why I very much dislike calling things 3-color or 4-color because they don't tell you exactly which color. That's why I'm a huge fan of the the things from Ravnica.
You like the Nephilim? I was going to make this point. So Autumn Burchett's playing a 4-color Reclamation deck, and they tweeted a Nephilim name. And even though I know what that means, I didn't know what it means. I don't know any of the Nephilim by their name.
Nor should you, right? That's not the point. The point is they exist. If anyone had ever pushed them to become the names of the 4-color sequence or whatever, then it would have stuck. I mean, it's not like Abzan means anything to anyone outside of Magic. It's just the exact same thing. It's just you just have to pick a lane and stick to it. And 4 colors, nothing. It's nonsense. Doesn't matter.
I wonder if I could even... Can you even name the 4 Nephilim? I know one of them's Glint Eye.
No, I actually played that limited format just an outrageous amount, but I did not draft the Nephilims aggressively, even when I was playing 4-color, because they were just so weak.
Yeah, that's part of it. They're not memorable because they're pretty bad. It's some Robber of the Riches going to work for Paul Wu. Only real impactful spell cast so far has been these 2 copies of Robber. Diaz did have a Growth Spiral, though, and we see a Shark Typhoon in hand. And curving to a Nissa.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's got to be the play here is that Shark Typhoon to try to trade. It might not work out, but next turn, you just want as clear of a board as possible for this Nissa who shakes the world next turn.
Ooh, did you see that? Diaz, aggressive with the emotes.
Thinking.
The pre-combat main phase, your go on the opponent's turn.
All right, let's see what this black is for. Now that we have deck lists. Nothing.
Yeah, I'm looking at black mana sources and no main deck black spells.
Sideboard, 4 copies of Eliminate, 4 copies of Heartless Act. The end. That's the black splash. Okay.
The decision seems to be that sweepers, not necessarily where you want to be. Efficient 2-mana 1-for-1s are the answer.
Yeah, the Shock actually super good against the Shark Typhoon token there, clearing the way and making full use out of the mana. Paul Wu really putting a hurt in here on Diaz, but Diaz with the Planeswalker. Let's see if it's enough to claw him back in the game.
3/3 Swamp shows up as a blocker. Can't shock that one away. Wu did spend a turn missing a land drop. Theoretically, you could see some explosive stuff from a Steamkin in this sort of spot.
Oh, absolutely. But I think one of the biggest stories here is that what's Diaz's plan, even if he survives the next few turns? 4 lands in hand, 3 Triomes. This is a really, really rough spot.
You see an attack, no action before attacks. Robber is going to be blocked by Swamp. Wu's list is 4 Embercleave, of course. Here is 1. That's just going to go on a Steamkin. How about lethal damage?
Yeah, that's not bad. that's a GG.
Game number 2. Jeez, Diaz is stocked with Doom Blades for this matchup.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the reasons why he has these removal spells. The sweepers themselves, perhaps not exactly easy to cast, And if you look closely, the only red card in his deck too, in the main deck specifically, is Expansion Explosion.
Hold on, is Diaz gonna board in all 15 of these cards?
I hope so. Yep. Transformation.
I was looking at the spells. I started looking at the main deck, saw 4 disputes. I was like, well, all these cards are good, and there's a lot of bad stuff in the main deck. I love this.
I mean, this is Diaz in a nutshell. We've seen Diaz come to the table with like some really interesting builds of like the top tier decks in the format. I mean, just a few weeks ago, he won one of our qualifiers with a Team of Reclamation deck that had 4 copies of Nisu Shakes the World and only 3 copies of Wilderness Reclamation. And for that weekend, it was perfect because Nisu Shakes the World was such a powerful tool against the Bant ramp decks. But now with Bant kind of on the downswing, the Reclamation decks can kind of be a bit more flexible. And you see here, Diaz has almost a transformational sideboard where he turns into the Sultai control deck. And he just so happens to have just like a couple Expansion Explosion, a couple of Wilderness Reclamation, but really has a huge emphasis on those like interactive and card draw effects, but with the removal. Like Euro plus removal is definitely just a solid game plan against mono red, for example.
You saw Negate Tribal being boarded into Doomblade Tribal. Or a few representatives of the Doomblade tribe in the opener. Little Landlight.
Yeah. I mean, Diaz is 3-0 for a reason. I mean, the main deck's obviously pretty solid, fairly stock looking. But then the sideboard, you just get to literally side in 15 and out 15. And those 15 are the bad cards. They're like Dispute, Negate, things that just like don't have a meaningful impact against the aggro decks. But you're seeing him also mulligan a hand that had like 4 sideboard cards in it or whatever. So I mean
that's sort of the nature of the all Doomblade sideboard, is that all those cards are 1-for-1s. They are good, but they are just getting your deck to having a coherent, consistent game plan. But that hand just didn't have enough lands. Even if you peel into the right amount of mana, your cards are still only okay. They're still just 1-for-1s.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, this game, Paul Wu needs to have a land drop here. I was going to say, or this Nightpack Ambusher might actually just steal it by itself.
Yeah, I've had that happen playing the red decks for sure.
Yeah. You can still cast it this turn. On the play, Growth Spiral into Ambusher is a pretty strong start. We'll see if Paul Wu has the answer. If not, just the Nightpack Ambusher's static effect and end of turn effect might just be enough to dominate the battlefield.
There's Lin number 4, Ambusher hanging out in hand. Paul Wu's going to play an Anax pre-combat. At least gives you something when your creatures are blocked.
Yep. It's going to give him the ability to continue applying pressure, which is a big deal.
So one of the spitters is eaten. Champion and the other connect. Diaz to 13. Now Shark Typhoon hanging out as another blocker, as we see a wolf token generated by the Ambusher.
Yeah, and the Euro on defense here too over the next few turns might be enough to like gain enough life back to salvage the game. Like the Nightpack Ambusher is going to do a lot of heavy lifting, but if it ever gets knocked off, then it's going to be really tough sledding.
Well, here comes the team, and we might be looking at actual Splinter Twin and Axe.
Believe. And we're doing some quick maths as Aaron Diaz tries to figure out if he has any outs to this very obvious Ember Cleave.
Scorch Spitter is going to do a point. We see Shark Typhoon being cycled. Does Diaz want a 3/3 Shark, or maybe to leave up a Doomblade mana in case one comes off the top? It will be 3/3 Shark.
Yeah, I think the prospect was we're in too much bad shape if they have Ember Cleave no matter what. Let's hope they don't have it. Oh, quad or triple block on the Anax.
Not interested in being cleaved. Some reconsideration on that block.
Yeah, this is if you got it, you got it. We're going to block the best block possible. We're going to take as little as possible. But
no cleave.
It doesn't have it. No cleave. Didn't believe hard enough.
Diaz to 11. You see some satyrs showing up. Light up the stage. That's certainly an incentive to attack. I saw Steamkin was one of the 2 cards. Diaz in pretty good shape at this point, though.
Yeah, looked like the other one was the Tibalt Planeswalker that keeps you from gaining life.
The Rakish Instigator.
Rakish Instigator, that's the one. I remembered Fiend Blooded. Even though that one saw
I remember the one that saw 0 play.
I've played a lot of Rakish Instigator. I even put that in my Pioneer decks from time to time.
Yeah, it's a solid card.
Interesting that the Red Cap melee wasn't played before blocks there. Interesting.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what happened there.
Yeah, it might have been maybe I missaw what was pulled off of the light of the stage.
Yeah, so we're gonna see the front side of Uro. But no escapes just yet, just a Soul Seer being left up.
Yeah, this is going to protect for 1 turn from Embercleave or like a big haze creature or something, and then Euro next turn plus Soul Scar if nothing, if it's not cast, should be enough. I believe there are more than enough cards in the graveyard for Euro to escape. It was literally just about holding up Soul Scar or not.
Yeah, we've seen quite a few things go to the graveyard. Shark Typhoon, Growth Spiral, Nightpack Ambusher, Fabled Passage.
Oof.
Here is Tybalt. Soul Seer can hit Planeswalkers.
Yeah, that's a nice one.
Show up. Good utility in attrition games. I gotta say, it makes me really sad when I read damage spells that creature or Planeswalkers. That means they can't hit players. Soul Seer, of course, would be absurd if it could do that.
Yeah, I mean, if it was deal 5 to any target and exile
3 mana Lava Axe.
That would be quite good. I'm actually in the opposite camp, though. I quite like the fact that a lot of these cards are now being included with Planeswalker when normally they used to only be able to hit creatures, you know? Like if Fight with Fire, when it was in Standard, if that card could hit Planeswalkers with the front half, like I
like that part. I dislike like Fire Prophecy because I want to hit my opponent.
No, and that's reasonable, but like if Fire Prophecy could hit players, that card would be incredible. Like it's already. It
sounds like you get it.
Pretty damn good.
Sounds like you get it.
I get it.
Ooh, big Torbs. Torbrand showing up. Here's an attack with a bunch of 1/1s, but more or less 3/1s.
Yeah. Torbrand just going to be doing a ton of damage here. This might have to be one of those attack with Euro and Hope turns.
Speculative, looking for a draw. See Growth Spiral looking for something. Another Triome. Diaz just full of lands.
Yeah, as it stands, if there's no attack from the Euro and nothing is cast or drawn, the game's over. We can cycle a Triome and look for something, or just attack with Euro and try to find something. But if Torbrand is killed, the game continues. So cycling Triome and attacking with Euro both give him a shot. And he finds Eliminate, but that's not quite enough. It only kills 3s and below. Although it is only 10 damage as it stands right now. Torbrand's 4 and the 2 tokens are 10. So technically alive if he eliminates one of the Satyr tokens and not the Imp token.
Gonna be a cycle in the Triome. Shark Typhoon, not exactly what the doctor ordered. And if Wu can produce any additional damage, should be able to cross the finish line.
Only needs 1 damage. Torbs is getting in. 2 tokens are getting in. The Eliminate's going to knock off a Satyr. It's going to put Diaz down to 1, and that's it.
Contra Acolyte of Flame, that'll immediately make 2 1/1s before it can be eliminated. You gotta figure. Diaz is just hoping for a passive priority. Didn't get it. Here come the 1/1s.
Target your own Euro. Target your own Euro.
And here comes the team. There's a cycle of Shark Typhoon, but that's not going to go anywhere. It's the 1/1 Shark, and
so close.
It's like 12 damage just chumping Torbs, and Paul Wu, a 2-0 win over Aaron Diaz, despite that transformational sort of sideboard full of Doomblades. Kind of hit the wrong one on the Torbrand.